Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Gallagher, for your leadership on this issue, and to our witnesses for helping to inform Congress on these important issues. Along with my colleagues from both sides of the aisle, I'm concerned with the rapid advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning, specifically with our adversaries like China. What concerns me most is the Chinese Communist Party has been making great strides and intends to be the world's leader by 2030. And while we here in the United States have made significant improvements in recent years, and we continue to advance, thankfully, we still have much work to do when it comes to ensuring the DoD is adopting and deploying these capabilities properly. With that, I wanted to give a shameless plug for one piece of legislation that I have in the AI space. My legislation would require the Office of Management and Budget to issue guidance to federal agencies to implement transparency practices relating to the use of AI and machine learning, specifically when AI is being used to supplant a human's decision-making impacting American citizens. While my legislation focuses more broadly, I want to ask for your thoughts on where the DoD currently stands when it comes to AI and machine learning. Where is the U.S. compared to our adversaries such as Russia and China with respect to fully implementing the latest capabilities? Are we years ahead? Are we on par? Are we years behind? And what are some ways you would plan for the DoD to speed up the adoption and implementation of AI effectively at the department? Mr. Wang?
So when we look at the new technologies like large language models, like ChatGPT, that have sort of really come to light over the past year, I think that's a jump ball. This is a new technology that we need to implement as quickly as possible. They're trying to implement as quickly as possible, and we'll see how that develops. If you look towards the last generation of AI technologies, which is computer vision and AI for things like facial recognition, this is an area where the original techniques were invented in the United States, but then China quickly raced ahead. So they built an industrial base within their country, funded it with government money to build facial recognition technology, which they deployed throughout their country to suppress Uyghurs and overall tighten the grip of their socialist regime. If you look today at the leaderboards for computer vision AI competitions globally, Chinese companies, Chinese universities dominate compared to American institutions. So if you look at that as a case study, the Chinese system clearly has an ability and a will to race forward when it comes to artificial intelligence deployments. Now, as we look towards this next field of large language models, we have reasons to be optimistic. China is going to be more reticent to invest into large language models because they are difficult to censor. They released recent regulation on that said that AI needed to adapt to their socialist principles, which I think is a clear limitation if you have an AI that can sometimes misspeak, like ChatGPT. So we have reasons for optimism, and again, the DoD produces more data than the PLA by orders of magnitude. We generate 22 terabytes of data every single day, and so if we can properly build an advantage here, it'll be quite durable.
Mr. Kitchen, would you add something to that? Where's your scorecard at? Are we behind? Are we ahead? Are we on par?
Well, I would say that the two global powers where the competition matters most historically is between the United States and China. As I mentioned at the beginning of my testimony, a year ago, I had very real concerns as to how the United States was going to be able to maintain its AI advantage. But precisely because so much of the conversation around AI, legitimately so, the public conversation focuses on the risks and the kind of unknown, again, meaningful conversations. I do think, just analytically, I do believe that we have a moment to reassert American dominance in a way that really matters. That some of the things that I would have called a drag on our development and deployment from a national security perspective are actually lessening, and that if we realize this technology deliberately, then we can seize the advantage, and not just seize the advantage now, but actually build an advantage that will be meaningful over the long term. And I think that we should do everything we can to do that.
Thanks. And with 30 seconds to go, Doctor, I'll ask you the last question. What are the risks that this committee, that the department should be aware of, and how do we address those risks as we leap forward?
So when it comes to risk, there's obviously a fallback if the United States falls behind with regards to the advancement of AI in military. So the main area that we need to focus on is to make sure that we do have the advantage on the research, investing on the research, especially in the military side, and making sure that we are still a leader in the area of R&D in AI.
Thanks. Chairman, my time